Hello, hello, welcome back. How's that spiritual experimentation going? Uh, really excited to introduce you to the second phase now of the physical health portion of the check-in. So we're now back to a second round of this over several weeks. And one, I'd be really curious just to know and have you reflect on, what has shifted, like what came through in a physical sense a few weeks ago that maybe you're still working with or is still present. And definitely this week, check in and reflect on where that is now. So, for example, I've been working through some knee stuff. I've been working through rehabbing my knee because there's some really terrible inflammation and swelling in it, a lot of pain, and it turns out that I had really overactive quadricep muscles and an IT band that were literally like pulling so hard on the kneecap that it was causing it to track funny, and that was causing swelling and inflammation in the knee. So I've been working on that for a few weeks. So let's say something like that came up, in your first session, and your knee was in one of the questions. Really came in is the knee wants attention. This pain wants to be relieved or whatever. So this second time around, come back and let's recheck in with whatever that is that came up. So if it was me, I would come in and maybe frame this next inquiry around a follow-up investigation with the knee. Check in how it's doing and what it needs for its highest good. Is there any physical activity that wants to be explored or expressed? Or in the case of this knee, sometimes it's the stuff that it doesn't want to do that comes in. Check in with that first and foremost. And then the second piece of this is just like we explored, last week with the spiritual inquiries. I would love for you to continue to experiment with this. Well, what if path A, B, C? What does it look like if I walk this path? What does it look like if I walk this path? What is the energy around if I make this choice? So if you're open to it, I would love to kind of add this second piece. So we'll go through the questions we asked last time. What does my body want me to know today for my highest good? What physical activity serves my highest good? What nourishment does my body need for its highest good? Is there anything I need to know today about the physical health of my body for my highest good? And is there anything I'm not seeing clearly about my physical health that I need to know for my highest good? So that's actually a good question to maybe use an example. So let's say something comes in for that. Is there anything I am not seeing clearly about my physical health that I need to know for my highest good? So let's say something comes in and, you or me a few weeks ago, and I went to see a chiropractor. So this didn't come through intuitively. I've been doing intuitive work, and seeking guidance from a professional was the guidance that came in. So is there anything I'm not seeing clearly about my physical health that I need to know for my highest good? Something comes in there, and the guidance comes in, seek help. What you can do is then take that little intuitive nudge and now take it to that exploring path ABC. What is the outcome or the energy around me going to seek professional healing or help with my knee problem? See what comes in. What is the outcome or the energy around me not seeking professional help or healing with this knee issue? See what comes in. And then compare that information. And if there you can come up with another path, I don't know if there's another one. If I do it or if I don't do it. So going back to sort of the philosophy of this, again, not making things right or wrong. Not making things right or wrong. It gives us the path. It shows us the energy, kind of like the choice and the consequences potentially of the choice. And then we get to use that information to make a more conscious decision. To me, again, this is what this intuitive process is all about. It's getting information and making more conscious, more aware decisions. And then we'll take it to another step. So we could look at, this is path A and this is path B. Physically, we could look at the energy and the outcome physically. And then we can also ask, what is the spiritual lesson if I go and seek professional help? The lesson would be, could be like humility or humbleness, surrender, receiving help. For example, I've long been very connected to the body. The complete guide to strength and conditioning for football was practically my Bible when I was a high school kid. And then I became a personal trainer and did that for over a decade, and all kinds of certifications, and a certified sports performance coach, performance enhancement specialist, corrective exercise specialist, certified personal trainer, all that stuff, all kinds of knowledge and wisdom there. I could very well have been very stubborn and be like, no, I know all my stuff. I know my stuff. I'm a physical person. I'm a genius. And then run around with a bad knee. So, the spiritual lesson, or maybe the soul lesson around going and seeking treatment or help, was receiving, or accepting that you don't know everything, right? There could be something there. Then you can look at the path of, well, what is the spiritual growth if I don't go get help? And there might be something around there. You actually might end up getting the same lesson, but it's just going to be harder. You might see that eventually you're going to have to get a help, but you see yourself or feel yourself 6 months down the road, needing even more drastic intervention because you didn't address the issue now. Does that make sense? So that's one of the things that we can do sort of with this practice, is we can use our intuition to see, maybe in a very physical, especially with this one, with a very physical sense, what does that path look like? What's the outcome if I go this route? And then there's the spiritual lessons behind it. And you might find that the spiritual lesson is the same. It's just like, if we do it now, the knee heals fast, like more quickly. But if we don't do it now, we end up having to surrender and receive help and acknowledge that we don't know everything about the body. And it happens 8 months later, but also that requires surgery. One path is a hard lesson, and one path is addressing it more quickly. So that's how that could work and how that could show up in this particular instance. But also, this goes for all the areas of our life. So, and that's why we're doing this kind of path A, path B exploration. It's for us to find out for ourselves what's hiding around the corner. And we don't necessarily have to turn to, psychics and intuitive guides and healers all the time, because we have this connection for ourselves. Sometimes they're going to be there to provide help, just like this thing I'm talking about with my knee. I'm plenty qualified to address a lot of stuff with the body, but clearly I was missing what that was, because he was able to pinpoint a few things that I had forgotten about. It's old stuff. And he's been able to, the chiropractor that I'm working with has been able to help alleviate that stuff much, much faster than I would have got to. Even if I would have been doing all my research and all that, that's why you go to professionals. So that's my little lesson. So check in with your own physical health, look at the paths that are ahead of you moving forward, and look at the potential growth or lessons that are also waiting for you, and just see what comes up and see what comes in. And then kind of compare and contrast that with, what you worked with a few weeks ago, doing that whole check-in. If you can do this daily, just a little mini check-in, maybe you do a simple check-in of, what do I need to know today for my body's highest good? You can do that every day. And then on one day where you're feeling a little spunky, do a deeper dive and just see how it goes. All right. So I'm excited to share this stuff with you. It's so fun to be able to share this and kind of get it outside of myself and allow other people to play with it, because I look forward to seeing the growth and the development, and also the insights and the perspectives that other people bring to this work. So dive in. Please feel free to share anything that you discover or find. And when you spend a week with this material, we'll get together again next week, and we're going to dive into some relationship stuff. So I will see you in a few weeks. Adios.